notes for my April/May 2026 reading of Source Code by Bill Gates. Today is Friday, 1 May 2026, and here I, Tanis, she, her, hers of Seattle, talk through my book and reading notes for my April/May 2026 reading of an autobiography on tech industry leader Bill Gates. Source Code, My Beginnings by Bill Gates, 2025 Alfred A. Knopf edition, hardcover, ISBN in the video description. I started the book on Thursday, 23 April 2026, and finished the book on Friday, 1 May 2026. It's 323 pages through the A note on the type section. It took me 7 days of reading, 20 pages Thursday, 23 April, 20 pages Friday, 24 April, 60 pages Monday, 27 April, 40 pages Tuesday, 28 April, 80 pages Wednesday, 29 April, 50 pages Thursday, 30 April, and 53 pages 1 May. So general notes, it's an autobiography. It focuses on his early life and getting started in kind of founding with a friend, Paul Allen, the company Microsoft. And it really does a good job of kind of communicating his background, which is like might be like he had energy and had a variety of interests, but it kind of carried over to the physical nature of computers in the day, and is like way back when computers weren't as small as they are today, you know, Friday, 1 May 2026 AD. And so it's essentially there's a like to kind of like justify like, well, how did he get his beginnings and why was he flipping switches and stuff like that? And you're like, well, you could do that in a physics course these days. And it's like, and no, with a completely different context, right? Learning for a class for something that's easy to do now, whereas back then, or it was required, like they didn't even have the computer, like kind of thing. So like, right, he invented the software to compare or to control, direct the microprocessors what to do, so to speak. So it was a good one. I give it a 5.5 out of 5 stars. It's a business and computer science chronology / development type science story. So there's science in here. It's kind of like, depending on how immersed one is, they might be like, well, that's so stupid. And it's like, no, that's just what technology was back then. It required brains and a little bit of bronze. So, yeah. So his personal life components bolsters a case for the foundational hands-on nature of his work. Software for microprocessors. He talks about flipping switches and the such, and kind of like a school kid. A physical component was needed / required. Computers and their components were not as small as they are today. And then I'm going to do a few other things I wrote down, and I'm done. I'm trying to make this a shorter one. So compare his place in the development of the personal computer with my cardiology self-experimentation. Is his developing software like what graduate level degrees in English would be for me in my cardiology research? So essentially there's these, you know, computer pieces, and they're like, how do we communicate that? How do we develop a language for these computer pieces to like process so that it can output stuff, and the computer can be developed in such a way that it can be used for other things. And so it's like me and my cardiology, and the sense of like there's all these components in the system, and there's like stuff that go into the system, and so it's maybe a little bit more messy, and it's a living system like it's a human system, and stuff, and so but like a computer's messy in a different way, right? Where like I'm developing English language to communicate like what you can do this with other things, or you can like clean up the system this way. And so, and in that sense, like it's like, you know, his basic language is my English language. Like it might be analogous for basic for the microprocessors, and then English for the heart system. Okay. I would be Bill Gates. Mr. David Beckham would be Paul Allen in the founding of this endeavor, I suppose. I have previously mentioned about royalties in relation to my research. I was like, well, there's one thing, right? Royalties, there's just like a percentage kind of business model of things sold. So as a Bill Gates, per the book and its content, is an example of someone who incorporated royalties into his business model. So it could be possible for me to be a billionaire on royalties. Right? And if Mr. Dave Beckham and I split our endeavors 60-40, then he would be, right, the bigger billionaire. And then I was like, so how do I explain that? So like Kaiser Permanente goes, we'll give you your royalties sliver of 10%. You get to be a billionaire. What does that make us? Right? There's kind of like a greed component of some people might move on from royalties because they want a bigger share of the profit. 10% for this little cardiologist. There's a self-experimenter goes, I don't want to get too close to ownership. That's a small sliver. It's the nature of my heart anyway. Okay, so that makes it a little more obvious why. So that them being like, what does that make us, right? They get 90%. If I'm a billionaire, then they're like, oh, super billionaire, like that kind of thing in spirit. But then there's so then like Microsoft, I get the hard business of who/how many to pair with. Right, so then there's like, but you could overtake Kaiser Permanente if you paired with a bunch of people. And I'm like, the goal is selective pairing. Right, the right thing, a good distribution system, that kind of thing, at least for me. And good thing I have my Mr. David Beckham. I continue my self-experimentation research in like cardiology / physiology, or the broader physiology within that cardiology. I continue my, some people might be more familiar with one term. Okay, so I continue my self-experimentation cardiology within physiology. It's the beating heart, the core of what I do. In my military service, and develop new technology, my English communication abilities through my graduate degrees in English. A fun business angle could be seeing how long we can keep it a two-human show operationally. This jives with what Bill Gates wrote about the military being early investors / interested parties in what he/they were doing in terms of technology development. Yeah. Like software language, like language development. I'm like, yeah, English for me, operationally for the heart. So like, my highest college degree attained is a Bachelor of Science in geology and geophysics with a minor in mathematics. And I've been doing cardiology self-experimentation for a chunk. More than just the 2020s decade. So there we go. Anyway, that's notes for my April / May 2026 reading of Source Code by Bill Gates.